As we have finished up the Thanksgiving holiday and now we're headed into the Christmas season, I had a thought that I wanted to kind of explore about the reason that we stop doing things. You see, on Thursday, I ate a lot of turkey and eventually I stopped because I was full. And then after several days of eating turkey, I've now stopped, not because I'm full, but because I'm fed up. And so both of these things had the same result, where I stopped eating turkey. But one motivation was temporary, the other motivation was a bit more permanent. So this is an easy distinction to make when you're talking about trivial things like turkey. But there, of course, are weightier matters that we could consider. Are we just full of this thing for now, or are we fed up with it altogether? And some of these weighty matters might be things such as addiction, or a moral failure, or even our beliefs. And so when we consider whether or not we should stop doing something in these categories, it obviously requires a bit more thought, a bit more weight. I could think of one example of an addiction that I had that's probably a bit silly, but I was addicted to cereal. Quite literally, every time we went to the grocery store, it resulted in another box or two coming home with us. And I had no reason to stop doing it. I just loved it. I loved cereal. I would literally eat 2 bowls in the morning, 2 bowls at night before bed, sometimes a midday snack. Sometimes I just finish off a whole box. I just loved cereal. And I didn't really think I had a problem until one day I finished a box, threw it in the trash, and thought to myself, I need to check the pantry to see how many more boxes I have. And I went and I counted, and there were 17 more boxes of cereal left in the pantry. Now, of course, I still had plenty, no reason to fret. But what happened is it kind of slapped me in the face, and it said, Daryl, you've got a problem. And so literally from that moment, I said, I'm not buying any more cereal. And I stopped buying cereal for a very long time. I mean, years, I stopped buying it. And so you can see how that is a very trivial thing, a bit silly, but how you could easily compare that to something much more serious in the addiction world. So the reason that you stop something long-term typically means you have to become fed up with it. I included another category there, and that would be like sin or moral failures. And I think that this is a weighty matter. There's a reason to stop doing some of these things. My wife pointed one of these things out to me before we were even married. When we just started dating, I certainly had a moral failure going on. What would happen is when I was with her and her family, I would behave and I would be respectful and I wouldn't use any foul language or anything like that. But when I would go to hang out with the guys, we would just let it all hang out. Just be guys, be silly, talk with the most filthy language we could think of. And that was our way of being, right? And so when she noticed this, she pointed out and she said, I just don't know why you wouldn't be the same person all the time. Like, why do you have to be two different things? And so this lack of integrity that she pointed out really kind of slapped me in the face once again and caused me to say, yeah, that is pretty dumb. If I won't do it in front of her, why do I want to do it in front of my friends? Why do I want to subject myself to it? And so having these thoughts and not wanting to be somebody who didn't have integrity, I promptly stopped doing these things. And so shortly after that, I became a Christian. I had been convicted of sin. I have been convicted that I needed a savior. And so that was a really big thing for me. So my beliefs really started to change. I stopped believing certain things and I started believing others. But then when we think about our beliefs and whether or not we should stop or start believing certain things, really that's a huge deal. and life-altering things have to happen. So here's my encouragement. Whatever it is that you believe, dig into it, test it, try it over and over again. Look at it in all different forms and fashions and from every angle, because you want to make sure that what you believe is true. Because when you believe something that's not true, it infects everything that you do. The way that you represent the things, the way that things are, is based on what you believe. And so it's important that we believe what is true so that we can represent things correctly. And really, we wouldn't want to misrepresent God. And so if there is one absolute objective truth, then we should really take the time to consider all the possibilities so that we can become fed up with the ones that aren't true, and we can stop doing those things. So if being fed up with something causes you to quit doing it in a more permanent manner, what is it that causes you to be fed up? Well, I think that there are really only two basic motivations in life: love and fear. And while it would take a long time to dig into those two topics, and maybe we will on future videos, I think I'll just kind of wrap up this whole full or fed up concept with these two things in mind, the love and the fear. There are surely countless things that we might want to stop because of their negative impact. But there's one positive thing that I would want to encourage you not to stop, and that's to love each other as best as you can. As we enter into this season where we're trying to share joy and love and cheer and gifts with one another, I just want us to remember that the greatest gift that we have ever received was love incarnate, that Jesus came down as a baby to love. And so because of that, it really makes me think that our purpose is simply to love one another. And so if there's something that's keeping you from doing that, get fed up with it. If you can't love like you should, then get fed up with the thing that's stopping you from doing that. And so I just want to encourage us that, love is the gift that never stops giving. And so let's thank God for his love and for the gift of his son. I'm Daryl Stevens, taking you from hope to home.